Yeah, let's go back up to Michigan. Let's see what's going on with Corey Wiggins.
On every prior matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. If we can just want to file a corrected appearance, I'd appreciate that. So we are set for a probation violation hearing on both of these files. However, I have received an amended violation bench warrant. So we are going to arraign on that amended one. The prior violation was, thank you, that the defendant had violated probation by testing positive for methamphetamine on December 22nd. Today's amended bench warrant request has that same violation, but also that the defendant is in violation of probation by failing to test on December 27th, thereby resulting in a missed test. Mr. Pruitt, again, you do have the right to be represented by an attorney in this hearing. You also, if you are found guilty of the violations, you could be sentenced to what you could have been sentenced to under the original convictions. In 25373, SM is up to 93 days, and in 252722, up to 1 year. Do you understand that? Mr. Hartel, the court will enter a not guilty plea to the amended violations today. Now I know we are here for a contested hearing, but Mr. Hartel, were you aware of the amended warrant coming through?
Not before coming in this morning. I was given one by the probation department while I was here. I do believe my client and I have had ample opportunity for court one to do a single hearing today, though. Thank you.
Okay. You think you're prepared for both?
I do believe so, yes.
Any objection to that, Ms. Lawrence?
No.
And so are we then having the hearing? We're not, it's not a plea.
We would ask for a hearing.
All right. All right. Then we will go ahead and do the hearing. Ms. Lawrence?
We'll call Melissa Disney.
Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
You may have a seat. And whenever you're ready.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Melissa Bismack.
And what is your occupation?
I'm the 84th District Court Probation Officer for Wexford and South County.
And are you supervising a man by the name of Daryl Pruitt?
Yes,
Do you recognize him in the courtroom today?
yes, he's sitting with his attorney at the defense table.
And what's something he's wearing?
Blue checkered flannel and a black sweatshirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Mr. Hartel?
No objection, Your Honor.
It shall so reflect.
What are some of the terms of Mr. Pruitt's probation?
Mr. Pruitt is supposed to be testing randomly for drugs and alcohol and counseling. He was released from treatment and enrolled back in the random testing, and that was on 12/17. His first test after being released from treatment was on 12/22, and he was positive for meth.
Okay. And so part of that random testing is that he not consume illegal controlled substances, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Was that test in person on the 22nd?
Yes.
Okay. And that was showing positive for methamphetamine?
Yes.
You said, what date was he released from inpatient treatment?
That was on 12/17 of 2025.
And then was he lodged for that violation on the 22nd?
He was, yes.
Okay. And then do you know when he was released?
He was arraigned on the 23rd of December and given a PR bond, so he would have been released that day.
Okay. And then was he supposed to come in for a random test on December 27th?
He was.
Okay, and what happened on that date?
That would have been on a weekend, so he appeared to test with community corrections because they're open from 6:30 to 8 on weekends. Travis, who would have administered the test, gave him multiple attempts, and he was there from 7:20 a.m. until 9 a.m. So he stayed an hour after they were supposed to be closed to try to get a sample from Mr. Pruitt, and he was unsuccessful.
Okay, so he never gave a sample for that test?
No.
I don't believe I have any other questions at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Hartel?
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, for the 22nd, when he tested positive, were you the one doing the test that day, or was that somebody else?
That was Taylor Brecka. I was not in that day.
Do your notes reflect, or do you otherwise know if my client said anything to explain why there might be a positive or a false positive?
I have a note that she wrote in the file that he tested positive, states he went to a friend's house, may have touched meth, and that he took a single hit of a cigarette that was lit.
Did you follow up with him on that by chance?
I have not.
When it comes to the 27th for not being able to submit to the test, I'm assuming we're talking about a urine test?
Correct.
Does your office also offer mouth swabs, anything like that?
Our office does, but again, he was testing with community corrections because it was on a weekend.
Oh, and your office isn't available on the weekends?
No.
Do you know of community corrections? If you know, do they offer the mouth swabs?
If I ask for one, like for a female especially, I might ask for a mouth swab because there's a male tester there. But since they're both males, I did not ask for a.
You have to make the request in advance. If I'm not sure. Okay. I believe you've answered my questions.
Ms. Lawrence, any redirect?
Just a couple. How long did you say that community corrections gave him to provide a urine sample?
He was there from 7:20 a.m. to 9 a.m.
And you said sometimes you offer the oral swab to females if there's a male tester there. Is that your decision whether you want to offer that or not?
Yes, we make the decision based on a number of things regarding male or female. If we believe that maybe they've been using a clean out kit or other reasons like that, we would ask for an oral test.
I have nothing further.
Thank you. Any recross, Mr. Hartel?
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused?
Yes.
You may step down. Any additional proofs, Ms. Lawrence?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hartel?
My client would wish to testify on his own behalf, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Pruitt, if you'd come up here, please. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You may have a seat. And whenever you're ready, Mr. Hartel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, on the 22nd, what happened that day that you believe might have led to you testing positive?
I gave a guy a ride to his friend's house, and I didn't know that he was even like that, because I known him for some time. And I asked him for a cigarette when I was leaving, that's what was going on. 'Cause I might be around that kind of thing. And I asked him for a cigarette, he gave me a cigarette. And I walked outside and I lit my cigarette, and I could taste something funny in it. And I immediately threw it down, and I knew what it was because I had consumed it before. So it was not intentional that I did that. It's not something I was looking for, something that I wanted to do. Just in that cigarette, and that's what caused me to test positive the next day.
And did you communicate that information to somebody at that testing location?
I did,
And was that pretty similar to what we just heard testified to a minute ago?
yes.
Okay. What happened on the 27th?
I got up in the morning. I just woke up, I don't know, probably around 6:30-ish, something like that. And I didn't know what time it was. I just went to the bathroom and I seen the time it was. It was 6:30 when I seen the time, and I called the number, random number I called. and I had to go test, so I came to community corrections, and I didn't have to urinate. And I tried to drink a lot of water and do that, and I still couldn't. Probably because I just used the bathroom, before I came. I didn't know what time it was in the morning. And I asked the gentleman if I could do a mouth swab, and he says, they don't do that. And I says, well, can you please call Melissa Wismack and ask her? He did not. And I was willing to do a mouth swab that morning because I threw my violation. Because I'm clean and I have been clean, staying clean.
All right, and you mostly answered these already, but I want to be very direct and very on point with it. Since completion of treatment, have you consumed any illegal substances intentional?
No, sir.
And did you have every intent to provide a sample on the 27th if you couldn't physically been able to?
Yes, I did. I had every intention. So,
All right. There might be some additional questions, but thank you for your time.
thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawrence?
You said you've known this friend for quite some time. How long would you say you've known this friend?
About a year and a half, I would say.
Is this a close friend?
I would say I would consider him a close friend.
But you had no idea that he was a methamphetamine user.
No, I did not. I've never known him to do such things.
You are aware that part of your probation is not to consume controlled substances, correct?
Yes,
And you are aware that when you're called in to test, you are expected to test.
and I had every intention. So,
But did you test on that day, on the 27th?
I couldn't. I did not because I didn't have to use the bathroom.
And although you're claiming you did not intentionally consume methamphetamine, is it true that you tested positive for methamphetamine on the 22nd?
Unintentionally. She said that I tested positive for it. That's the only reason from that cigarette that's the only reason. Because I did not intend or have any intentions of doing anything illegal at all.
Mr. Hartel, any redirect? I'm sorry, redirect.
No, thank you.
Mr. Pruitt, I have a couple questions. You said that you had drank a lot of water. How much water did you drink?
I drank about a bottle and a half, 2 bottles. I'm assuming because of the water fountain.
So you were drinking out of the water fountain.
Yeah, and I used the little tiny cups that they have.
Okay.
I drank-
Like the Dixie cup size?
Yes,
Okay. And then how many attempts were there to use or to provide a test?
I only tried once before. I have to go and ask if I could wait a little while. He said yes.
And when after arriving was it that you attempted that first test?
It was about 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, 20 minutes to half an hour, is that what you said?
So,
And what time did you check your numbers?
about 6:30-ish.
What attempts did you try to, did you make any attempts to consume water before coming in to test?
On my way. Water bottle that I had. in the vehicle.
How much is not a lot?
It was probably a quarter bottle of water.
Like a normal size
Yeah,
bottle?
12 ounce.
And how long of a trip did you have to community corrections?
It was about 40 minutes.
Ms. Lawrence, does that raise any additional questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hartel?
Just a few, and I'll try not to be too embarrassing about it, but I think I kind of have to. You mentioned that you urinated at some point in that morning, correct? About what time was that?
It was before 6:30, before I called. What time it was in the morning. I didn't know. but
When you did urinate, in part was it because you had to go pretty bad first thing in the morning?
it woke me up.
Fair enough. Different people's bladders are different, especially as people get older, especially with men, things like that. How long does it normally take you, once you start consuming the amount of fluid you were mentioning, before you normally have to urinate?
It's usually a few hours. I don't use the bathroom a whole lot. I don't really drink a lot of water. I drink more pop and things like that.
Type of jobs you've done, maybe you have to be able to hold your fluid so your brain works a certain way?
Yeah,
All right.
I worked in a lot of factories, so we couldn't always use the bathroom.
And although this may or may not be something that comes up at the court's discretion, if the court did order you to test right now, do you have every reason to believe you would be clean?
Absolutely.
All right, well, that may or may not be something the court asked of you. It is one of your bond conditions with your PR bond and being on probation. There may or may not be more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawrence, does that raise any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hartel, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pruitt, you
If I
may,
may.
no, it has come through the form of a question. Any additional proofs? Well, actually, Mr. Hartel, I'll let you talk with your client to see if you want him to testify about something
I
else.
appreciate that, Your Honor. Yes, sir. There is one other question. I don't know if the court wants him to take the stand again, or if it's okay where he is.
But where he's at,
All right. Sir, I believe I may have heard your agent say that the 22nd was the first time that you tested since coming back from treatment. Were there any prior tests prior to that?
Yes, the 18th, the day after I got out of rehab,
What happened during that test?
I was negative.
All right. I thought it was the only other test before the 22nd?
Yes.
All right. That was the only additional question. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Lawrence, does that raise any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Any rebuttal witnesses, Ms. Lawrence? Or I'm sorry, Mr. Hartel, did you have any additional
Oh,
proofs?
no further proofs. Thank you.
Any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
All right, argument then?
Thank you, Your Honor. While I understand Mr. Pruitt is claiming he did not intentionally consume methamphetamine, I'm going to be frank, I find that extremely hard to believe. Whether it was in his intention or not, he is taking a random laced cigarette from a very good friend that he is unaware is a methamphetamine user. I think is pretty hard to believe. Given that, whether he intentionally did it or not, he did consume methamphetamine and he admitted to that. He admitted that he tested positive on the 22nd, and he also admitted that he essentially refused to test on the 27th. I understand it takes some people longer than others to pee, but that is his responsibility in the morning to check his testing number and to come in and to test when told to do so. I'm drinking that much water. I mean, Ms. Bismack stated he was here for 2.5 hours. If he checked his number at 6:30, he knew he had the test. Ms. Bismack said he was here from 7:20 till 9 a.m. From 6:30 to 9 o'clock, that's essentially 2.5 hours of him drinking a ton of water, as he says, and still not being able to test. That is on the responsibility of Mr. Pruitt to know when to test and to be able to test when told to do so. So I would ask the court to find Mr. Pruitt guilty of both probation violations. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hartel?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd ask the court not to find my client guilty of these 2 counts, as he did testify to, and as the other witness testified to was mentioned to her department at least. My client has been firm on the fact there was no intentional consumption. He's been consistent with his communications to people at the probation department here on the record under oath. I take him for his word on that. I also asked the court to factor in that he did testify that he did attempt to provide a sample. As has been noted, everyone's bladder is a little bit different. He did testify that he had attempted to request a mouth swab. I don't think somebody who believed they were going to come up positive for drugs would do that. We realize the departments have their policies for the reasons they have their policies. I respect that, but I do believe he did not intentionally avoid testing. He was physically present. Most people, I don't want to oversimplify it, but he did show up and ask the court to factor that in at a minimum. There was testimony that he did consume fluids. I asked the court to take that under weight as well, I'll phrase it that way. I do believe that the fact that he said that he was willing to test today, even in my mind, at least goes to the mentality that he knows he would be clean. Why would somebody who knows they're going to be clean fail to provide a sample? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Any further allocution I'll reserve for if there's a finding. But again, I'd ask for the court not to find him guilty of either of these counts. Thank you.
Thank you. In rebuttal, Ms. Lawrence?
Yes, Your Honor. I think the fact that he showed up to test on the 27th does not automatically mean he was clean. This happens all the time, and not saying Mr. Pruitt's case is just like every other case, but people raise their hand to offer to test for us all the time, promise they're going to test clean, and then when the court actually orders them to test, they don't. This is not the first time this has happened. While I understand he was here and trying to test, in his opinion, he did not test. So we'll never know if on the 27th he would have tested clean or not, because he did not provide a sample when he was supposed to.
Thank you. Based on the testimony presented today, I do find that the defendant is in violation of his probation by testing positive for methamphetamine on the 22nd of this month. I also find that he's in violation for failing to test on the 27th. While he may have presented himself for testing, the fact remains that he did not test, and probationers do not get to choose the form of the test that is presented to them. In this case, it was a urine test. Community Corrections was with the defendant for 2.5 hours during that period of time. And actually before that, because he drank about a quarter bottle during his 40-minute trip to town. So that would have been roughly 2.25 bottles in his estimate that he drank of water, and during that period of time could not provide a urine sample. It doesn't take a whole lot of urine to give a urine test. So while he may have presented himself, he did not test. In regards to the positive test for methamphetamine, he may not have knowingly ingested it, but the fact is that he did ingest it, and a heightened sense of security needs to be there when one is on probation. So I do find the defendant in violation of his probation. By my count, this would be 3 technicals with the prior. Is that correct, Ms. Bismack?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Has everybody received the recommendation in this case?
As we are.
Is there any corrections to it by either party?
No, Your
No, Your Honor.
All right. Allocution, Mr. Hartel?
Yes, Your Honor. When it comes to actual sentencing, I do realize the court has a bit of discretion here. I'd ask the court to factor in that even though there's been a finding of consumption, as the court did note, there was testimony that it wasn't intentional. There was testimony of my client at least attempting to provide some type of sample as far as testing. We realize those don't reach the thresholds that the court requires. We realize that's why there's been a finding, but we still ask the court to factor that into reasonableness for any potential punishment. He is, again, willing to test right now to prove he's clean right now, if that mattered to the court. He's been trying to do everything right. He's been trying to respark good relationships with some family, weed out some friends that he realizes he should have weeded out before. This really scared him straight a bit, realizing, hey, he was being near somebody who may or may not have some issues, even if it's somebody he didn't necessarily think was that big of an issue. He wants to be as safe as possible. Only people who are 100% on the straight and narrow. He's also been applying to a variety of jobs, I believe Gill Staffing and a few other places, Sarah Lee, maybe if I recall correctly. I do believe he has a statement he'd like to wish to say in a moment as well. But again, he's highly motivated to test today to prove to the court he's clean if given that opportunity, if the court believes it has any weight whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawrence?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask the court to follow the probation recommendation. Speaking with Ms. Bismack, Mr. Pruitt did inpatient treatment, and although he did that successfully, inpatient treatment is, I mean, is as hard as it gets. And the fact that he is still testing positive after completing inpatient is extremely concerning to the people. So I would ask for the 15 days jail. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pruitt, you do have the right to address the court prior to sentencing. Is there anything you'd like me to know?
Yes, sir. I did not knowingly or intentionally consume anything illegal. And I have been trying to find a job and all that, necessarily, and I do plan on moving away from people, places, and things. I'm just got to get a job in order to do that. I better myself. And I do take my sobriety very serious. As far as rehab, I did 37 days and take it very serious and helped me a great deal. I'm understanding a lot of different things, a lot of reactions, you know, a lot of stuff from people. I learned a lot. And it really helped me quite a bit. And I appreciate that opportunity to grow from things. I did test the day after I got out of rehab too. I was 18 and I was negative. And the 22nd, I did not knowingly consume or be around anything that's like that at all. I have any intentions whatsoever, or even anything whatsoever to do anything, any of that again in my life. And that's just the way that it is for me. I can't speak for myself. I do not want that kind of life anymore. I am not going to have that kind of life anymore. And I'm trying to better myself as a human being and as a citizen. That's them are my intention to do, and that's what I am going to do.
You said you're trying to get into Sara Lee.
Yes, sir.
How long has that been going on that you're trying to get in there?
I put in an application while I was in rehab. So it's been a few, about 2.5 weeks.
Have you heard from them at all?
I called them, I haven't heard from them. They said they were like on a hiring freeze till the first of the year. So that's where I'm at with them. I also put in applications at Gill Staffing and Northern Staffing. I'm willing to take any job I have at any point. It doesn't matter to me what job it is, as long as I have a job.
How are you supporting yourself now?
Right now, I'm staying with my daughter, my youngest daughter. She's 25. She lives in Evans. That's where I'm staying right now. So I'm away from people, you know, things like that. I've cut a lot of people out of my life. And that's better for me. Helps my situation. That's what I'm trying to do. And not knowingly consume anything or intently at all. And I was very upset when I realized what was happening. That's why it caused me to test positive. And I was very upset about that.
Did you say anything to the probation officer before you tested about you knew you were going to test positive?
I did not. I didn't know that I was going to. I think that's positive for that.
But out of precaution, you didn't say, hey, yesterday I accidentally smoked this meth-laced cigarette?
No, it was on Sunday.
Okay.
So, and I come and tested it on Monday. And that's how I.
Yeah, so it was Mondays when you smoked it.
No, Sunday.
I'm sorry, Sundays when you smoked it, Mondays when you tested.
Yes, and there was only one, I just lit it. And I realized what was in it, and I threw it down immediately. And I was verbally upset. I was yelling at him, you know, and I just left. And I didn't know what to do.
Why didn't you say anything to the probation officer? That, hey, there's this chance that I might test positive, and this is why.
Mr. Meth wasn't there, and Taylor, I explained to her what had happened.
Before or after you tested?
It was during the test.
Okay.
So I had no intention of, or knowingly try to do anything. Because I'm being punished for it. Like I said, I didn't know him to be that way. And it's been, I guess, a few months since I actually seen him. A lot of things can change in that time. So, where I'm at with that. I apologize for it. And it's not something I'm going to continue to do or even want to do. I haven't thought ahead.
All right, anything else? Well, Mr. Pruitt, from where I sit, your version of events, while I can maybe see them and understand how things happen, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. It's hard for me to believe that right after rehab that you're ingesting some sort of meth without knowing what it was. And it's also hard for me to believe that in a 2.5 hour time period, you could not produce enough urine to provide a sample. When allegedly just a few days before you had used methamphetamine. However, with that said, you are now in a position where you need to sink or swim on your own. You know, I could put you in jail for up to 15 days because this is your 3rd violation. And by all intent and purposes, I should do that. However, if it is as you say it is, that it was not intentional and you couldn't provide urine because you had used the bathroom 3 hours before, then I'm not sure there's anything I can do to help you with that. It's all on you. You're the one who knows your bladder. You're the one who knows what you have to do. You're the one who knows that you're not supposed to consume meth, and you don't have a problem with that the way it sounds. So, as I said, this is all going to ride on you. There's going to be 1 day jail, 1 day credit on the violation. Like I said, you should be getting 15 days, but there's nothing we're going to get out of that the way it sounds. I'm going to continue probation. I am going to order increased testing at the discretion of Ms. Bismack. And hopefully we won't see you in here again. But if we do, we know whose fault that is, right? And you also know that you're out of excuses. You now know that shouldn't be bumming cigarettes off people, and you know now that you have to test when you have to test, and that you don't get to choose the method of testing. So just keep that in mind. You can go out to the front window where you checked in, get a copy of the order. And Ms. Bismack, does he need to report today?
Yes, sir.
And then make sure you report downstairs.
Thank you.